No, I'll stand.
Stay here.
I'm going to sit in Mike's lap.
While Kate comes down, Kevin, does this feel like deja vu for you? We were here a year ago doing the premiere, and now you're here for these last three episodes.
It's like a nice bookend, like to start the show here, the first season, and end it here. See, first season, I'm still being hopeful. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's just so cool to show this here with this group, and especially end on something so just blatantly, openly emotional, like we're gonna make you cry, and then Mike and I are sitting back there like, we hear people crying, we did our job.
Well, it's such an unusual experience to have, to watch an episode of television in a crowd like this. Maybe just down the line here, some experiences you guys had watching this panel right now. Maybe starting with you, Sanjay.
Well, for most of us, this is the first time seeing all of these episodes, I think. So we're in the back there just so overwhelmed and emotional. It's so bittersweet. I think we're all it's very raw to see it.
I'm incapable of tears. I'm capable of crying. But if I were, I'd be sobbing.
This is the main reason I came here, was to see this with you guys, with an audience. We don't get this opportunity very much, and just to see where the laughs are, and just to feel the things that we're hoping to convey, and it's a shared experience. It's just it's such a treat. So thank you for coming to this.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Mike, you came on the show after the pilot there. What was it about the pilot that you responded to, and what did you think that you could sort of, something that you responded to you wanted to add on to make this show?
Well, I mean, I guess, the emotional part of it really appealed to me, and it's hard to do that in comedy and have it feel earned, and, the fact that Kevin had set up this really specific world that I didn't really know about, this rear detachment, these people who are in the Army who support, or they're sort of support the troops who are overseas. I mean, that's part of their function, but yet have this really heroic mission. It was just like this, something got really revealed to me, a world that wasn't on television where you could have these real stakes. And, again, speaking as someone who likes to just, deal with sort of comedy and emotion, to have a platform where it comes naturally is very rare. So it was good job, Kevin.
Well, one of the moments here that really struck to me was when Dobkus, in the first episode we saw tonight, says that for the first time I feel like a real soldier. And so much of this show, which appeals to me at least, I want to talk to you, Kevin, how you guys worked on this, is to say, the conception of a soldier is the Pete Hill hero. Yep. And then we have these other types who, a lot of times these people are just as valuable, but sometimes live down to expectations. But when they're called upon, they rise to the occasion.
Exactly, and that was a huge mission on the show. Is that I think the temptation may have been just to do we're going to do the police academy version where they're all a bunch of knuckleheads, and they're not really competent. But our attitude towards it was they are competent. They just haven't been inspired or pushed hard enough to get to that point, and that's a great fun journey for all the characters to go on.
There's also I think the aspect that it's a workplace, that gets lost when you think about the Army in general. You just think, well, they're soldiers and they're heroic and they go on heroic missions and that's the end of it. But, they're human beings who took a job also. And what are they figuring out about themselves in this job, which is what we're going to get into in season 2. Yeah.
So you're saying you can Afghanistan as season 2? That's what we're saying? I'm speaking of stakes and the ways. Angelique, I want to talk about the scene in which you were doing the end of the obstacle course, the end of Ranger training. You're down there in the mud. You're on your knees. Tell us about sort of what was going through your mind in that particular scene and what you were trying to evoke.
Well, in that particular scene, it was actually a real experience that we had at boot camp. We had to go to boot camp. We went to training before we started shooting the series, and we had to do this obstacle course. And I don't know if some of you have seen the YouTube videos of our training, but that was basically taken straight from that experience. And
your emotional part.
And my emotion. Right? I mean, I was so emotional on the day doing the actual during boot camp, and then it just came right back shooting this, and that's all. That was so real. I was crying. I mean, it was a really emotional scene, and I think it's that feeling of wanting so bad to be able to keep up and physically be able to do what the boys could do. And that day it was really hard for me. I actually couldn't do the monkey bars. They were really far apart and it was on an incline, and I did keep falling, and it was very frustrating, and I felt probably exactly how Jill would feel in that situation, frustrated and exhausted.
in addition to Jill and the Hill Bros, we got the rest of Rear D, and I want to talk to sort of Mort and Michelle, maybe the writers can chip in here too, is that how quickly defined Rear D came in, where they would have these specific reactions to certain scenarios, and sort of how much that came from you guys, and how much was that sort of the writers figuring out what these actors were good at?
I mean, it's like, it was, honestly, it's 100% these guys, 100%. Like, we had an idea of what we wanted the platoon to be, and like very basic sides for actors to come in and read, but immediately with Michelle and Mort and the rest of them, we just started writing to them. Like, I think that's Mike and I, kind of our attitude towards like writing and stuff is like you write to who these people are, and they're both so funny and so talented. 90% of the lines you saw both of these guys do during the course of these episodes, that was them. That's not us writing. That's these guys being hilarious and great.
We weren't supposed to kiss, but I insisted. But do it again, I said. Another take. Like, more tongue. What are we doing here? You know, stuff like that.
That was actually my first on-screen kiss. And it was already an emotional day because we knew it was the finale. And Mort had his parents there.
Yeah, that's true.
Which was also super, because right after we made out, I'm like, hi, Mr. Burke, how are you? Great. But,
and he said, you finally proved to me that my son is kind of straight.
I do what I can. But one of the best things working on the show, I can definitely speak for Mort and I, because I do stand-up and he does improv, is finding people that let you celebrate your voice. Everyone's trying to put like a circle in a square, and they're like, do it like this. But you guys just let us go to Riff Town. And then a week later when we got a script, our lines were sort of like our voice. It's what we would say. Yeah. So I felt like every week it got better and better. And of course we still go to Riff Town. I mean, nobody wrote in do a Beyonce move. But a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
Yeah.
And Kate and Sanjay, you both worked with Mike and Kevin before. What do these guys do that's so appealing to you, and what have you learned from them through your experiences on the various shows that you've worked on with them?
Tell us how we're appealing.
First of all, they're very handsome. Secondly, I think I've learned that the script is never done. That the project.
These guys can't write.
That's what I meant. What I meant was that the project is always alive. It's always moving. So it can change on set when you have brilliant actors like this who can improvise things and bring their own personality to it. It can change in editing. It can change in the sound mix. So they're always looking for ways to find jokes, find laughs, find emotional moments, and pull them out. And so the script is never done. Yeah.
It was just great having a mom and dad as our bosses and to play them off each other.
Who's the mom and who's the dad? I want to be the mom. I want to be the mom.
Who is the mom? It's like, who's the boss?
It changes from day to day. But yeah, I worked with Mike on 1600 Penn as well. And I mean, I don't think I ever told you this, Mike, so feel free to start crying. But that was the reason I took the job, was to work for you. Because I was such a fan of Men of a Certain Age,
so
and I just wanted to. But that was why I took that job, was to work with Mike, and then and I'd worked with Kevin for 3 years on Cougar Town, and from the
look at that.
From the moment that we met, I think I told you the first day that we met, at the end of our talk, I said that you're basically my brother, because we had so many shared experiences. And
we both got fired off of South Park.
We both got fired from South Park.
That's a bonding thing, trust me.
Yeah, and we both had the same. We got the same notes from South Park. I mean, we got fired for the same reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is weird. So we had to be bonded.
That was the best thing. It's like they basically said to both of us, "We feel like we already have your voice in the room." And Sanjay and I are like, "There's Matt and Trey and us in the room." So we were like high-fiving, like, "That's awesome!" Like, all right.
Yeah, he has a much more positive take on it than I do. But it was just a joy to get to work with the both of them on this show. It was the best professional experience I've had so far. And then this crew of people is just amazing. The actors, the crew. It's true, like, we try to rip from the headlines as much as possible from who they really are. Like, Dob Kisses, oh, it's trying to give us boner pills, right? But it's just been such a creatively, satisfying experience. And the show is trying to say something. And, I don't know how many times that happens in your career.
Yeah, I think it translates how open-hearted and caring Mike and Kevin are as people. Kevin insisted that I stay in his room last night because I didn't have a hotel, and gave me the bed. Yeah, and slept on the cot. The
That's
creator
snuck in
of
when
the
he was
television
asleep.
show that I'm on made me sleep in a man's bed.
But
while
also,
he's-
don't leave out the part I put a rib in the toilet too. So I did do
he
that.
dropped a rib bone in the toilet. It was one of the weirdest pranks I've ever encountered.
I was just going to say, I think so much of our show, it has heart, and I think that's what we were just speaking on, and I think that all comes from Kevin and Mike, and we're all screwed now because we don't want to work for anyone else, like ever. And I think that's the main feeling that we all, there's a sense of camaraderie, and we don't want to go anywhere else. That's why we want
Let's be
season,
hopeful. Maybe you won't
season
have to.
2.
Right?
Yeah,
Hope.
let's hope. One of my most favorite things, besides seeing my freckles on TV, is just, thank you, girl. She was like, Hercules, Hercules. I mean, we've all done other projects, but I've never been walking around. I live in New York. I've never been walking around like Penn Station or Times Square or the Village, and like have people come up to me in the military and say, "Oh my God, I know someone like you. Oh my God, I am you. Oh my God, I wish I was like that." Like, it's the biggest compliment ever because I have family in the military, and they're always telling me I could never hack it in the military. And I'm like, Sunday nights at 7.
All right. With that, let's get some audience questions here. Anybody have anything they want to ask? Right here.
I know that you based the Hill brothers on your brothers, Kevin. So I wondered, what was their, I'm sure they've seen the show, what has their reaction been to the versions of themselves?
Oh my God! It was. I got the pilot and I brought it home, and I was so excited. I'm like, I'm gonna show my brothers. This is gonna be great. And they sat down on the couch. We watched it. They didn't laugh once. The show ended. One of them, the middle brother, Robbie, said, "We don't talk like that." And the youngest brother was mad that he didn't get to play himself on the show. So, I mean, they are very appreciative of it, and like they kind of see shades of themselves in it, but it was the polar opposite of the amazing I'm going to show the show to my family first experience. They like left, and I just like cried on my wife's shoulder for half an hour, just like, it's going to be okay. They still love you. I'm like, no, they don't. Fuck those guys. Yes, and by the way, the guy, Diesel, in the show that Tanya, getaway dirtbag, that's my brother. Yeah, so he's been in 3 episodes of the show.
You got to play a dirtbag. It all worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. That's exactly right. He's been on the show 3 times, and 2 of the times he's gotten hit in the face with something. Once with a football, and once with a fire extinguisher. So, all right.
Right here in the middle.
First of all, I want to thank you because this was the second show to end its season with Parker Young shirtless. And I just wanted to ask about sort of the visual jokes on the show, whether it's the Donkey Kong or just going around and seeing everybody with their contraband out. How do you sort of develop jokes like that? And then I know a lot of that stuff in editing, but how does something like the Donkey Kong thing shoot? Because that's got to be complicated.
Well, yeah, the Donkey Kong was a giant,
We can't do this.
Yeah. I mean, the ideas come from, the writers and just everyone has pitched, everyone has, all different places. Donkey Kong in particular, I remember that script written by Sanjay went through, yes. That script is jam-packed with stuff. I don't know, the plot lines are there's just twists and turns and things happening every 5 seconds. And he did an amazing job working with like so many storylines and threads and little things that had to pay off at the end. And the Donkey Kong, Richie Keene directed it, and it was like, it was like a maneuver. So much work went into the construction. Obviously, you see the set looks exactly like it, and we just got to that point where in the script there were like, I don't know, you put like 2 and 2 together. It was like, well, there's barrels, and he's up on a level, and they're on a level, and Gumbel was playing Donkey Kong in the beginning, like that's what his contraband was, and then I don't know, it just somehow all added, it kind of came organically. I almost said generically, but that's the opposite.
I'll never forget when we were shooting that week. Parker was so into it. Do you remember how he wouldn't
absolutely.
stop? He was like,
Yeah.
let me go again.
He's Parker, and he's so young.
Like
he's
he just wanted to keep going. Like he just didn't think he ever got it. So he's like, I want to keep.
And remember, Parker's so young. He's like disgustingly young. So it's like, you're gonna be Donkey Kong. He's like, what's Donkey Kong? You're like, boo Parker, boo Parker. But then one of the great things about it though was like that's an insanely complicated deal, and Fox was like, "Go, we want big visuals, go for it." And we're like, "Are you sure? Because this is what we're gonna do." And they're like, "Okay." I don't think they even understood what we were trying to do there, but that was great because we got away with it basically.
Well, that was also the case with Bill Cosby. Didn't you have to explain to him?
He didn't know who Bill Cosby was. This is the great yes. There's two things I'm gonna. One.
Are we
is
sure
that
he exists?
Is that in the finale when Keith David was getting a massage, Keith actually fell asleep on the table at one point, and people had to be like, "Mr. David," I go, "Excuse me." But then Parker did not know who Bill Cosby was, and literally it was at the table read, and he's like, "Who's Bill Cosby?" And I think one of us just went, "He looks like this." He's like, "Okay, I got it," and then he did that. Like that's how talented he is. It's crazy.
Any other questions out here right now? Season 2, are we just going to have Brandon Routh shirtless in season 2 if there is one? Because
Totally
that apparently was
shirtless,
like
yes.
very popular among some parts over here. I mean, like
Absolutely.
right here, down in the middle.
Could you talk, and you can answer this however you would like. Could you talk about Fox's treatment of the show?
Look, we're all entirely thankful, and I especially it's amazing the show even exists. To be frank, like there hasn't been a show like this in a long time. I'm not sure there's gonna be another one like it for a long time after like the ratings we got, but they were just supportive of it as far as our creative vision of it. Yeah, I mean, Friday night's a tough time slot. What are you gonna do? Like it's kind of like water under the bridge at this point. The show exists, and
Yes.
I feel like complaining about anything would just seem in bad form, personally.
A network is an organism, and there are a lot of things that just were out of. Sorry, I forgot. Oh, sorry. A lot of things happen to us that were not because they disliked the show. There's just they had to move a lot of pieces around and stuff. So, absolutely, we're more grateful that we got to do the show, and maybe we'll continue to do the show. The show exists. That's the part that you focus on.
Any other questions out here? If we don't, front. Oh, there you go, right there.
Obviously, the show is going to run for 30 years. If something were to happen that was not the case, how would you feel with that finale standing as the period as opposed to the comp?
I'm sure everyone has an answer here. I'll just be very brief. If that's the last thing that ever exists of the show, I'm gonna be insanely proud of all the work that we did. I feel like, and I'm also gonna have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. You guys let this get away. This, you haven't ever had anything else like this. It's on you because we made a great show. So if that's it, that's the ending. I'm happy.
Can I say something about the finale? Because Kevin won't say it, so I'll say it for him. But Jeff, Eric, and we split up duties in writing the finale, but that very moving beach scene, that was all Kevin Biegel. He wrote that. And I just want to give him credit for it.
Anything else out here? Right, where do we have? Right there. Thank you. People are pointing to her. Thank you.
I have two questions. One is when the DVDs come out, the season one come out, will you have commentary on it? And the other question is there anything we can do to help the show continue?
Yes. How much money do you have?
We're going to pass around a bucket.
Honestly, I think we're in a world where we don't know if DVDs are a thing anymore. And I just say, again, not because of something they have against us. It's just, it's mostly iTunes and Amazon downloads at this point and streaming. You can stream it on Hulu.com. You can stream it on Fox.com. So I don't know. I mean, if they did it, of course, I think we'd want to do that. And then as far as helping, there's 3 more shows. They're Sundays at 7 on Fox, 6 Central. It's not like they're promoting it. Obviously, they canceled it, so it's all people power. We do a lot of live tweeting. These guys are monsters when it comes to that. And the truth is, in this day and age, there are many. Oh, I'm going to sound like an asshole now. Metrics. There are many metrics by which a show is judged, and there are many worlds in which a show can exist. And the only reason I say that is that all the social media has actually been keeping us alive. People look at it and they can see the fan base that in 5 or 10 years ago you wouldn't have been able to see it because it would have been 100 letters written to the network. So they see that there's this untapped thing. And they don't put Nielsen boxes on military bases, so we can't count those people, but we know through social media how many of those people appreciate the show, that we have a real audience there, and then we have a real audience everywhere else as well. So that's really it. The more you can work through that medium to publicize the show and get on board, it really does help.
If you liked what you saw tonight and you want it to continue, tell as many people as you can. Like I never intended that letter I wrote for people for it to be published from people to see, but if you really care about it, write a letter to your friends. You never know who it can end up with. You know, like be as loud as you possibly can about, hey, this show's great. If you didn't like it, keep your trap shut. Don't tell nobody. But if you enjoyed it, like really be vocal about it, because Mike's right. The fact that that you guys are so active and so vocal about the show, that's something that we have, blessedly, that other entities don't have, and people are taking notice of that. And you know, we hired a company to do like a media breakdown basically for us, and it's unbelievable when there's like 7 million people you can literally point to saying those guys are actually engaged in the show right now. That everything's changing. It's a weird environment, but just tell as many people as possible. And if you know a Nielsen family, I'll buy them a steak dinner if they watch it. Not even kidding. Totally serious.
I'm hoping I'm gonna see if any questions, any hands raised here. All right, right here in the middle.
Those are acceptable.
I just want to say thank you for having multiple female characters who are funny and throughout the whole show. What sort of was the weirdest thing you had to do for the show that you never would have conceived that you would have had to do? Oh, God.
How much time do you have? No, I love the dancing. That's like my thing. But there was a lot of, I remember when we shot the pilot, Kevin wrote me a really sweet letter and he just apologized for everything I'd have to go through. Because I was just like, how much am I going to have to wash my hair during the week? Like, let's be honest. And I remember the platoon didn't do a boot camp, but the pilot, like the first scene we shot, we were under the barbed wire.
The barbed wire.
Yeah, with this heavy helmet that was probably like 8 pounds. And I'm a little claustrophobic. And I
have a medical condition that's known as a weak neck.
Yeah, so the physical stuff, really, I just remember thinking like, oh my God, this is my first scene. How am I going to do that? Like, I had to talk myself off the ledge for a second and like really have it come to Jesus, like, you could do this. And after every take, he'd be like, great, 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 now do this. Oh my God, I remember when we were running out the platoon, the tank in the pilot, Phil Trail, the amazing director with an accent like yours, he's like, I had to run with like a gun and like, you know, kind of be tough. And he cuts and he's like, Michelle, great job. Do it again, but can you look less terrified? And I was like, no, I cannot. So that stuff was like, come on, running with these tits, come on.
I have a dirty joke I can tell, but no, yeah. Well, she asked about the ladies, so you did a wonderful job.
I would say anything physical, and then for me the hardest part was being tortured by Parker every day on set.
Yeah.
So like that kind of
real.
stuff that is real. That
got real.
I got scared a lot, but I'm tougher for it. So, and I won ultimately, so it's fine. I won. But the prank war, that was fun.
Question in your front, right in front.
Yeah.
99 shows out of 100, Jill would be this humorless, terrible straight man character. Like, how conscious were you guys? She's funny. Like, how much did you have to be aware of pivoting away from that stereotype of the wet blanket?
I mean, certainly we're aware of it, but she's funny, so it wasn't hard. You know, the notion of competence, you know, had to be something that was certainly in contrast to the platoon. But quickly, I think in the brother and sister show especially, that was one of the first ones we shot. Not, I guess, still one of the first ones we aired. But she just came out of the gate with the you know, training him how to break up with people, and she just shows. So, I mean, Angelique has so many just twists and turns and
thanks, Mike.
You know, sides.
She's amazing. She's amazing.
Flash, yes.
She's gonna be everywhere.
Right. The
in
short
2.2
answer is she
seconds.
made it easy. That's what I'm trying to say.
I was also wondering, Mort, has Jamort become a thing that...
Yes.
Jamort!
Dude, I have gotten laid countless times. It can't be counted. It's over 1,000. No, mostly just people on Twitter say it. I mean, whatever. Yeah, they wrote it. I mean, they wrote that line. And anytime any reggae is mentioned, I go, oh yeah! So that's what I did for that Jamort thing, right?
I think it's taken over your spirit. This guy did not fly out here from Los Angeles. He rented a Challenger, Dodge Challenger, and drove. How Jamort is that?
Yeah. I rented this badass muscle car, grew a mediocre beard, and drove 3 days to be out here. Yeah. Yep. Also, mostly because I'm scared of airplanes. That's the real.
All right, last question right here.
I love your structure, how you have the storyline, and then you have the individual platoon members in full frame to be commenting on a particular act, and that it just works so well the way you guys are developing it. Is that a writing structure that y'all have set up to do that?
It's very nice of you to say, and that's something we discovered early on. These guys are all so funny and great that it would be a disservice to the show if we didn't feature them as much as possible. And literally, when you have them lined up in a line, because that's what they're doing for their job, if we can just, literally it was just set the camera on every one of them for every single scene, so we can just pop between them. It became like not a crutch, but kind of a strength of the show that we had basically this Greek chorus of yahoos to just give us jokes the entire time.
That's great. If you would indulge me for 1 second, we're very hopeful for season 2. We very much want more content. But this is the last time we're all together in this contest. I was hoping that the audience might be able to give some hand heads for this great cast and crew.
Oh, come on. That's awesome. Yeah, I got to take a picture of that. You guys, that's badass.
If you feel comfortable.
Oh, come on.
Thank you
That's
so
the coolest
much.
thing ever.
Let's get some pictures here. They wanted to get that. Thank you guys so much for coming out for this. Thanks to the cast and crew. It's been a fantastic panel. We appreciate everything.
Thank you,
Thanks for taking
everyone.
time out for this in the festival.
Thanks, Ryan.